I grew up on a dairy farm down by Kramer, North Dakota. Born in 1953, if you need to know that. I have, I'm a member of 6 children, 4 brothers and a sister, and a twin. And interesting thing about the twin aspect is that my twin brother birthday is a different month and day of myself. So here it is. I'm born on February 28th, 1953, and he was born on March 1st. So on leap year, we're a day apart. And so we get to celebrate for about 3 days then. I was born, I think, about 10:50 in the evening, and he was born, I believe, around 3 o'clock the next morning. And my mother didn't know that there was going to be twins, and of course, we were the youngest of the family besides. As our brothers graduated from high school, we graduated into milking cows. So we started really probably milking cows at an age of 10 years old. We had a dairy herd of about 25, sold grade A milk, and continued that milking process. However, to our lower level in the late 60s. So yeah, got up every morning, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock was always a milking time in the evening. Well, you know, the most unique thing about being a twin is that you're never alone. We've never experienced to be by ourselves, and for sure, if we ever got into a scrap, there's always 2 against 1. So nobody picked on us, you know, so that was unique in itself, and it was a real blessing. I could have brought some pictures, but we were identical, and we actually, in our first grade, Mrs. Folden was our teacher, and as I was told, we had our own language, my twin brother and I, for a period of time until she straightened us out. So that was kind of unique in its own. Well, we did use that in our high school days. Of course, when going to school in Kramer, you know. Now, we had a class in high school. Our class was only 5. My twin brother, myself, my cousin, and 2 other fellows. So, you know, we couldn't use the twin thing of dating because they all knew us real well, you know. But in college, there were some interesting times. Yeah, in 1969, the Kramer high school closed, and we had a choice of going to the area schools of Newburgh, Bottineau, or Upham. And the majority of our class, 5, 4 of us went to Upham and 1 went to Bottineau. So we had our choice of where we wanted to go, and graduated from Upham High School in 1971 to a class of 21. So my twin brother and myself, we thought we were really stepping up in the world, you know, from a class of 5 to 21, you know. Gained a lot of good friends of the class of 71. I think, you know, the success for Bottineau is two of the big things I think a lot of times we take for granted only because we live right next door here, is Lake Metigoshe, the Turtle Mountains. I mean, the size of the Turtle Mountains is 20 miles long, 10 miles wide approximately. Half of it is in Canada, half on the US side. But what a tremendous lake that we have up at Lake Metigoshe. There's probably 1,000 cabin owners up there. I mean, so we got recreation, plus we got the ski lodge in the wintertime. And we got people that want to ride trails. The Forest Service has about 4,000 acres that you can do whatever you want up there, from snowmobiling to horse riding to just walking, biking, or whatever the case is. So the Turtle Mountains has just been such a stale position for the community to survive. You know, if nothing else, to survive, but to grow at the same time. And then, you know, another good aspect is our college. You know, we've got this last while, we have students totaling about 1,000 kids that attend some form of the education up here. So, and then the rich farm community, the farmland, and that aspect is just kept a mainstay for the growth of, or maintaining the growth of Bottineau.
Hey everybody, Joe Beaver here. We're promoting Hart Trailers. We're talking about the product. Let's just get into it. From the first weld to the last inspection, we as Hart have done all we can do to guarantee you've got the best trailer your money can buy. They pull good. I don't have any trouble with them. They are user friendly. I want you to know that if you have a doubt one, don't buy it, because there's somebody else that's gonna buy it right behind you.
You know what sounds like fun? Your oasis for fun at the new and improved Four Bears Casino and Lodge. Now that sounds like fun.
We're more than a store. We're more than a brand. We are the lifestyle. We are all things Western. NRS.
You know, the very beginning, we were married in 1977, and we lived in town for a period of time in the mobile home park, which was very good, fine. But I had that farm instinct in me. I worked for farmers and ranchers, and I just had that in me of living in, and so here we are living in town. We looked at a couple homes. This property up in Bottineau, up in the hills, 7 miles away, come up, and it was a 90-acre plot with an older home on it. The home, I believe, was built in 1950. It was pretty adequate, you know. And I convinced Phyllis, although she was open, she come from a small town in Wild Rose. They had horses right in town. I mean, what the heck? That's just about like ranching, you know? So she was open to the idea, and of course I was moving up to the hills, 7 miles away on a farm, 90 acres, what the heck? So, so we moved up, and 1995, I sold the smaller home and built a new home. I had a new home moved up there, and at that time then, we, over the period of time, we built a barn and had a small cattle herd. In the 90s, I had up to 25 cows. I wanted, again, being raised up on the farm, I just couldn't, I gotta have the farm animals, And then, of course, my wife, Phyllis, she was a little more heavy into horses. We had some horses on the farm, but there were work horses. I remember, back with horses, we cleaned barn with the horses, when we milk cows. So the horse thing was going to be part of this place where we're going to live. And since that time, we built the barn and did that over a period of a couple of years as we got going. Then the neighbor next door had come up for sale, another 90 acres, and it was part of the whole unit, and we only bought half of it. That's all that was for sale at that time. So we bought that 90 acres, and it was kind of interesting. Phyllis, I think she was open to that 90 acres to buy, Now you got to remember, I'm a farm boy, and land is pretty golden, better than gold in my eyes, So we bought that, and then I suppose 5 years later, there was another 360 acres just east of my place come up for sale, and talked my older brother. I called him up, Arlen, and I said, "Gee, what do you think about me buying some extra land, and would you want to be a part of it?" Because we had bought, my twin brother and I and my brother Arlen had bought some land in the Kramer area prior to that as an investment. Three of us could pocket some money in there, and we bought it. And so this 360 acres come up for sale, and we're in the bidding process, and I called a little time out on the bidding, called up my brother and says, "What do you think if we bid another 10 grand on this, up the price that we did?" And I said we could all share, it would be three of us in there, we share that out. "Yeah, go ahead and do it," and we bought that at the 360. So at this point, we have approximately about 500 acres up in the Turtle Mountains. Beautiful. We got the creek, the Oak Creek was running through a part of it, and there's about a total of about 320 acres tillable, up and down hills, of course. It's not flat like the Kramer area, but just a real pretty area for us to maintain our desire. And actually, what a great place to raise kids. All of a sudden you can have horses, cows. We had sheep, we had rabbits. Phyllis wouldn't let me buy any pigs. That was the only thing that we didn't have. But we had all those little things because the girls were deeply involved in 4-H and showed horses. And so, yeah, it was just a place to raise a family.
Big Boy Toys. DTE.
Tracy's super aware of trying to make everything perfect and ideal. So down to, let's sit at the right height so that to tie my horses it is at the right height. Handles, latches, getting in and out. I want it to be accessible. If I'm gonna load my horse in a trailer, if I'm gonna take my horse somewhere, if I'm gonna put my best friend in a situation, they deserve the best. That's why I pull a hard trailer.
Lake Metagoshi State Park is nestled in the rich forest and wetlands between North Dakota and Canada. And at this park, you can get a little taste of everything. The park covers approximately 4,000 feet of shoreline on the picturesque Lake Metagoshi. Splash and play at sandy beaches with your family, or roam the docks with your best friend. Who says you need your own boat to enjoy the lake? Just rent a kayak or one of our pontoons for a few hours. The water is a living thing, supporting a variety of wildlife and changing year-round to offer new adventures. Explore the nearby Ermash and School Section Lake, canoe through the autumn splendor, and ice fish on the frozen waves. You'll never see the water the same way twice, even in the same spot.
Well, initially I thought to be a banker, you would make a lot of money, and you would have a pretty easy job from, maybe 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, but that didn't really turn out that way. One of the unique things about living on a farm as a young age, and probably I contribute a lot of it to my milking cows, is you had to be there at a certain time, morning and night. And so at my job here, I feel it the same way. I go early, one of the first ones there. That's my milking morning. And in the evening, generally one of the last ones to go, except the people in the bookkeeping department. I do give credit to the president of the bank. He virtually is the last one to leave, where a lot of other people in that profession have a tendency to leave early, I believe. I'm not sure. I've only been in one place. Well, it's like, generally speaking, young people that are starting, and because I've been at the institution for a long period of time, I can see what it takes from even a father and son, or I should say a parent, son or daughter, that we sometimes have better communications with their children than they do in regards of suggesting things. And so the parents very well may have said virtually the same thing, maybe in a different tone, and we can suggest that and it will make a difference. It's like reading a customer's idea, and it's kind of the reflection of you know just about what they're going to say already because you've experienced it with some other customer. And a lot of times it's how to get that information out of him or her, because it's new. I'm asking, they might be nervous in there. Genuinely they are, I've had people where they've broken down because of some mishap, or something didn't turn out and they feel bad. But you just work through that and you bring them out of that. You bring that out of their shells so by the time they walk out, they're feeling okay. They've opened up to you enough, which I appreciate. And generally speaking, I can just about get anybody, I can just about get them to tell me anything. Something that they probably didn't even want to. But, and I don't do that purposely, but I do it to ease their mind and to feel good when they walk out, or some comfort level. And that gets to be where the trust is, Generally speaking, back when I first started, and now it's so much different. You have to analyze a lot of things on paper. I'm still old school in regards of analyzing their character and who they are. And if I didn't have all of the regulations to follow, I'd still like this, have them sign the promissory note. I don't need any collateral. I just need you to sign and say, I'll pay you back, you know. Nowadays, it's changed a lot because we got to follow so many different regulations. But my first judgment is not so much their projections, is their character. And it's been good. I've been fortunate. So either I've been lucky or I've just got a great group of customers to deal with. Well, you know, it's kind of like the idea that I had through this time period of my working at the bank. I had some different opportunities to probably move on somewhere or not. However, my dreams were being met each time I thought about it, okay? I started working at the bank, had a good job, good people to work for. I moved to a farm, you know. Then I had two great daughters, you know. I should say I had a great wife too, okay, still. But two great daughters, and so, you know, the saying is, it's always greener on the other side of the fence. It wasn't in my case. Well, and that's just another plus. Now I've got my grandchildren, two of my grandchildren of the three, living only 7 miles from me, you know, and going to all of their activities, and they're allowing us to do that too. I do have a daughter and son-in-law in Fargo, so travel nowadays is, for example, last Sunday we drove to Fargo, celebrated a birthday, and come back the same day. You know, it's nothing to travel anymore, so we're looking forward to spending more time with that grandchild too. So I couldn't ask for better results. I mean, I don't know if you, I don't know what else I'd have, you know. Got my farm, got my family, and resources that I've built up enough to be comfortable, you know.